Looks like it's recording. Welcome to another episode, Two Whites and a Blue. My name is Joey. I'm here with my co-hosts, Will and Mike. It's good to see you both. Boys, in the spirit of tradition, in these trying times, let's talk about, that was a good, nice drink there, Mike. That was excellent. I think that got on camera. What did you guys spend your money on last week?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, do you have an answer? Because I have nothing. So that's my answer.
You didn't spend any. I didn't spend a whole lot either. I had an Amazon order with like some. I bought a book and then a couple other things. But honestly, I probably spent maybe $50 total again this week. It's very low. Thinking about getting more into options trading. Not really what I'm spent my money on, but I'm gonna be spending my money on it pretty soon. My buddy's learning to code, and he wants to learn how to code his own, computer. I don't even know what the fuck you call it.
Raspberry Pis?
No, it's just like you program it, and it basically makes trades for you.
A trading bot. Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
that's a mistake,
so
man.
Isn't that dangerous?
That's a mistake. You can't do trading bots unless you have a Bloomberg terminal. Is your buddy going to pay the Bloomberg fee? Because if you don't, you're going to get 15. Because all the stock info you get is 15 minutes delayed, unless you pay for the terminal. So if you don't have the terminal, by the time your bot executes the trade, the conditions.
Well, yeah, no kidding. No, if you use Questrade, it's not 15 minutes delayed. I don't know if they use the Bloomberg terminal or not, but you can get data as real time data.
You might want to check that out, because every other platform, including the big banks, TD, I know Wealthsimple does it too. Nothing is up to date. It's always 15 minutes delayed. It's 15 minutes across every platform.
I almost guaranteed, because you say get quote now, and it gets you that quote.
If you buy for sure. But if you're trying to execute a trade based on their numbers, the numbers they give you for your account, for example, it won't do it. So I don't know. Maybe the trading thing would be a little different. I'm not sure, but it sounds.
Yeah, the trading thing, because it's basically he's taking a course right now and trying to learn how to do it, and it's just it's basically all based strictly on the chart. It's nothing to do with fundamentals and shit, obviously. So. Anyways, I haven't bought anything yet, but I probably will buy. I don't know. I don't want to commit, but I think I might buy a coding course to go with his. So he's doing one right now, and he sent me the link to do it. It's $30 off that Udemy.
Yeah, Udemy's good.
Yeah, so I might do that, but I really don't want to commit.
I've been thinking about doing some kind of coding stuff, because I think I'm in an acting position right now that ends Wednesday. So I think I'm going to have some more free time. I may jump into that, some other skill, regardless of what it is. I'm going to put some time. I'll have some time to dedicate to some other stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
A Python course that's I think it's 18, 20 hours or something. And it's $50 or less than $50. So I might give it a go, but I'm really not. Anyway, so
that's a certificate out of it.
You hang it on your wall. You can put it in the wall behind you. So you got the 2 Doom and then code certificate.
The Python course coder.
Little snake on it. Something like that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're controlling nuclear fucking hideouts.
It was so easy. Even you can do it. When are you going to be on an ITT Tech commercial, Will? Are you there?
Yeah, when are you going to be on a bus stop billboard?
Daytime television, Everest, bus stop.
You got a good smile. You got good, perfect teeth. You could be one of those fucking smilers. I took one coding course. Look at me.
That Mohawk college guy on the fucking bus stops in Hamilton has about 1 trillion bracelets on. He's got more bracelets than he's ever done lines of code.
Why are coders on bus stops? I haven't seen.
I don't know if he's actually.
You just look. It's just Mohawk student, and then it's I don't know. They're always just doing something that has nothing to do.
It's a model.
It's so bullshit. You okay? So having gone there. And then what I did, and then what I saw in the commercials and shit, not the same. First of all, every student in those commercials, they're always smiling and laughing, and they have good relationships with their professors. And then you go there and do it.
Business casual. Why do they dress business casual in all these billboards?
In a trade school.
Yeah.
In a trade, I was what the fuck? All right. And then because I don't remember smiling ever. Actually, I was always pissed. Pissed and sweating in school.
There's a lot less camo in those ads than there is in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, exactly, and way more lift kits. There was like a fuckload. Like if you go to Mohawk, if you went to
I drive by Mohawk on the way home from Wayside Board.
Fennel, go to Stony Creek campus.
Oh,
that's the trade school. That's the technical.
Oh,
the technical
dude,
branch.
I knew a kid that went to Mohawk, and he financed the lift kit for his truck. Financed his truck, financed his lift kit also.
Strong choice.
It's so dumb, and I guarantee you in his head, well, maybe not. Maybe not in his head. He doesn't think. Maybe he thinks it's the best fucking investment he ever made.
Maybe.
But like a lift, if you have a lift, like you have to fucking be using that truck. If you just have a lift kit, I'm gonna be so fucking on you. If you don't take it mudding or something like that.
A lot of the lift kits you can't even take mudding. They're strictly pavement princesses where you can't eat. Like it makes it worse. It makes it higher, but it makes the suspension way worse.
What's the logic? What's the logic? Why do people want it? Just to look?
They think it looks good, yeah.
Because they think it looks sick. You look fucking badass.
I mean, look, like I want to get the windows tinted on my car, right? Like that's
worth it.
Either way, in my head, it's like, yeah, because it looks way better. But then in a conversation, I can disguise it and be like, oh, I just really like my privacy. What's the alternate answer for a lift kit?
Do you think that
the way it looks?
Is there even one occurrence in the history of the planet? Okay, so just to give you an idea how long that was, we got dinosaurs, the Sphinx.
It's only like 2,000 years.
Allegedly, Jesus Christ. The medieval times, the Renaissance, Enlightenment, and now this. Do you think how many times over these 5 eras has a woman said to themselves, like, you know what, I wasn't going to give this guy a shot, but this lift kit, I think I might.
Panties are soaking. Soaking.
I bet it's honestly happened before.
It's definitely
not with the right kind of chick.
No fucking way. Are you kidding me?
For sure. 100%. It's that type of chick though. Like,
wow.
It's the lot lizards.
Yeah. Fucking thank you.
That's
fucking thank you. Fucking thank you.
Well, was that from that was a Nick text, right? I'm pretty sure lot lizards.
I don't even know.
I've used that term before too.
Nick sent me a text a little while. Yeah, a lot lizards in it. But anyway, I digress.
Truck stop shop.
Or Mike, sorry, what'd you spend your money on?
Nothing. 0 things. I didn't buy anything.
That's it? That's the end
of the I don't have an answer. I wish I did, man. Like,
okay.
No, it's good that you didn't.
Well, that's good.
Like I've been just doing. Well, I bought I put the fucking money away into that simple shit for you.
Very good.
I've made some money on that, like so far. Like in the short period, like because when I started, the market was completely fucked. It's like not much. It's not much. It's like pennies on the dollar. I've made like I think my total return since I started, which would be 8 weeks ago, maybe 9. Maybe this might be the 9th week. It's $24.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty fucking good. Like,
but if you did nothing with that money,
exactly. Like I just made So
also,
which I know that, but it's just like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to explain.
Worth mentioning today, I think the market, the market more broadly realized it's like all these guys looked out their window at the same time and realized there was no cars driving anywhere and they hadn't been at work in 6 weeks. So
yeah, thank God.
Pretty sure they finally figured out there's a recession coming, and you're gonna see this V-shaped recovery we talked about a couple of weeks ago descend into the second half of a W at the very best, in the very best case scenario. I think probably you're going to see that line drop off quite a bit, and it's going to be down for a long, long time. We talked a little bit about oil last week and all that stuff about storage, and just the demand for products and commodities is going to be like all-time lows, man, like modern historic lows. It's going to be
it doesn't make any sense with the market doesn't make any sense to me right now, and I'm looking at and people like other people doesn't make any sense to. Like,
why doesn't it make sense? What doesn't make sense about it to you?
Like, how are all you hear is bad news. Yeah. All these numbers are coming out, they're all bad, and the market's just like reacting by like a fucking because like the S&P goes up for like 4% in a day.
Will, you're about to start trading options. You got to know what the Federal Reserve put is. You need to know what the Fed put is. If those guys are printing money hand over fist, running the fucking burr machine, then you don't bet against the Fed. The thing is now they're talking about buying stuff like, they're talking about buying A-rated ETFs, which is fucking nuts. They're talking about.
But how long can they just keep pumping the money in when there's like, it's clearly got to be a recession at some point?
Listen carefully.
You can't just.
I'm going to tell you. Forever. They can do it forever because they control the printer. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but they could do it as long as they want.
Yeah, but they won't. I don't think that'd be so irresponsible for them to do that.
You're 100% right. It would be completely irresponsible. I think we'll touch on that a bit later in our mailbag question. But
how about you, Joe? What'd you spend your money on?
Wait. I was gonna ask because like two guys that are obviously very fucking. You guys are invested in the stock market. You guys pay attention to it every day.
Pretty much.
Recession's coming, right? You're saying almost inevitably.
It's here.
Okay.
I would say so.
What's your plans, either of you guys? Do you guys have any fucking?
I moved a bunch of my equity money. So equities are like stocks, like what's the best way to describe it? Stuff you would buy on the stock market. Like you buy a stock in Apple or Nike or whatever.
Like something that you know is foolproof, going to come back.
But it's not even foolproof.
No,
it could be anything. I'm just saying.
You said you're selling, right?
Oh,
I sold
assets.
I didn't sell a lot. I didn't sell everything, but I sold a lot of my liquid assets. I moved it all into gold miners, gold, and stuff I think is pretty fail safe, like Berkshire. Other stuff that I think is like basically a cash substitute. Berkshire, Apple. If they go down, they go down. But people aren't going to stop buying iPhones. There's just no way.
No.
People aren't going to stop claiming insurance, right? Berkshire's B stock is mostly insurance companies, and so those guys who are running that fund, Munger and Buffett, they're not going to just drop off the face of the earth because of the recession. And the other thing that I think people don't consider, and this is only something I know because I pay attention. You might know it too well. For those guys to have $8 billion in cash or whatever their cash position is,
their cash position was way more than that.
Whatever it is, it's like some astronomical number.
It's like almost $100 billion. I thought.
Is that what it is? I didn't know. I don't know if it's 80 or 8. I can't remember now. I was listening to this.
I think it must be 80 billion cash.
You know how many companies they've acquired since that big 30% dip in March?
How many?
None. So that tells me that they think the bottom is up, right? And so like I'm okay with that. And honestly, like the three of us are long-term investors anyway. So regardless of what I did or didn't do, as long as you're not invested in shit companies, probably most of the good stuff will come back, right? But if you're in your retirement now, you need fixed income. You're in government bonds or stuff with dividends. Like, did you see Shell gas
cut their dividend for the first time since
World War II? That's fucking insane. That never fucking happens. And so guys, that goes into the gas conversation we were having 2 weeks ago. That the demand is just not there. The storage is full. And so at some point, this is going to hit a tipping point where gas, at 80 cents seems cheap, but I honestly think it's going to get to 50 fucking cents, man. I don't see how they can avoid that.
Yeah, I agree. But that like kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Like, how can the government really like prop up all like stock prices and shit like that? Like, if you can't, I mean, sure, you can pump money into the economy and try to stimulate it, but like if people aren't buying or like if they're like hoarding their money, and if like they're just like either not going out because they're not able to, and like you can't just force people to buy shit. And if you can't force people to buy shit, these companies are gonna have way less revenue, way less income, and it's just gonna go down. It just can't end well.
It won't end well. And one of the things that a lot of traditional investment guys are talking about now is, if you continue to pump money in to the economy. In 2008, there was no like feeling, I think, among guys like us who are invested but aren't like living on their investments, or who are doing some stock market stuff but aren't living on their stock market. Their livelihood is not related to the price of stocks. There was no real awareness from guys our age in 2008 about what really is happening. Like, what is a bailout package? What does that entail? And so now you're starting to see guys like us, and this includes, I think, people who are a little less informed than the three of us, who are not doing podcasts on finance and talking shit about finance all day long, whether it's with memes or real content. there's an awareness now that like, hold on a minute. You're telling me that you couldn't figure out a way to give me $1,500 a month and you're printing like 10 trillion over the course of 6 months. How is this possible? Where is this money coming from? And what does this mean for money? And what does it mean for value? And what does it mean for inflation? All this stuff. And I think people now are starting to see this for the first time. And so I don't know how long.
Like our generation, you mean?
Yeah, I think people are seeing this for the first time. But our generation is important because, you know, you see these numbers all the time from Robinhood and the American investing apps. You know, for example, the USO stuff we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. Robinhood had this great chart of the oil price going down and the number of Robinhood accounts that held USO going up. And so a lot of people now, whether they understand like how USO works and what it means to like have to take physical delivery if your contract doesn't settle, it doesn't really matter. What you're seeing here is people who are now paying attention to the price of a barrel of oil. How many people were paying attention to that 5 years ago? This is a lot less, I think. And so there's a political price to pay for that too. If you're a politician who's trying to say like, oh, we'll just print a few more trillion or whatever the number is, right? Like Jay Powell today was talking about buying fucking ETFs. The U.S. government is going to buy ETFs.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's a first time thing. That doesn't fucking happen. That's nuts.
It's a few trillion between friends anyway.
That's exactly right. It's not about the trillions you print. It's the friends you make along the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
How long do you think the recession's going to last for then?
At least a year and a half, if not longer. I think you're going to see like a currency debasement like you've never seen before. And that's not an original thought. Like it's something I have thought for a while that was coming, but there's people who articulate it much better than I ever could. The long and short of it is if you pump money into the economy, then the money that's already there loses value. That's a problem when you have the reserve currency for the planet. And that's a huge issue the US and the first world economies are going to have to deal with.
And us.
Yeah. Anyway, the money I spent this week, we're like 20 minutes in now. I didn't buy, but Kenzie bought with some money we were able to save for canceled weddings, from canceled weddings over the summer coming up. We bought a Dyson vacuum.
Nice. They're fucking decent, eh?
So, okay, you guys.
Hey, you were using
Dysons?
it yesterday.
Mike was here yesterday breaking the social quarantine, and
whoa,
fucking crazy, man! I'm nuts.
So, do you have
Get
a Dyson
close to me.
Will or no?
What?
You have a Dyson?
Yeah.
So this thing, in the 5 years or 4 years Ken's and I have lived together, I think I've vacuumed maybe twice because she was upset in the morning when I had a Friday off that I was still sleeping at 8 o'clock. I'm pretty sure that's the core cause of me picking up the vacuum in the day and a half.
Do something, eh?
Oh, fuck, Mike. Yesterday.
I know, hey, she's
Mike,
my sister.
You were here yesterday, Mike. I was like, let me get that thing on the stairs. I'll take it to the stairs. I did the whole the staircase, fucking finish that off. Couple of accessories in the corners.
No, when you start, you just fucking go. Hey, you just clean everything.
This morning I woke up. Usually in the morning, like I told you guys before, I do nothing at all. This morning I woke up. I put the coffee on. I grabbed the Dyson. Did the couches. Just pulling hair off the couch.
Oh yeah, fucking right.
Oh man, fuck! This thing is incredible. I can't wait to see what else I can get off the fucking floor with this thing. Such a good fucking way to spend your money. It was like
it's fun too. It's fucking fun.
Yeah, was it? It's that much? Holy
yeah.
Fuck.
No, it was on sale. Yeah, they're like $800.
Yeah, $600.
Oh my god.
And I used a service called Lolly, which gives you Bitcoin back. Not bad. Pretty happy about that after the week Bitcoin just had.
Easy sell for those guys. Eh?
I think it was 2% Bitcoin back, which is not bad, right? I'll take a couple bucks in Bitcoin. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And otherwise, I didn't spend money on fucking anything.
Those vacuums are
what?
fucking
You just
sick, man. Sorry,
you just told me you fucking you're drinking a beer right now. You got delivered yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
That doesn't count. Beer doesn't count.
Some Grain and Grit. I got 12 beers. They have 4 beers available online. They got
in the Palms.
The Palms.
In the Palms.
What's that mean?
It's their best fucking beer for sure, in my opinion.
They don't have that one. They got the Downpour Double IPA. Great labels, by the way. Outstanding.
Yeah,
labels.
I really like their labels.
Downpour Double IPA. They got the Berry Good Sour. I think this is
That's good. I like that.
This is a white supremacy symbol now, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
that's what I saw on Twitter.
WB.
They got the Long Shot Dry Hop Lager, and there's one other one, but I forget.
Never had it.
I forget what the title is now, or the kind of the makeup of the beer. But I've had 2 of them now, the long shot, and I had yesterday the the other one's called Invisible Friend.
Invisible Friend, yeah.
They're all pretty good. I've been to Grain and Grit before. Will's got the Grain and Grit shirt on. This is not planned. They're not sponsoring us, though they could if they wanted to, but they're not. And
I like Grain and Grit a lot. I like it a lot.
It's good beer. I think it's a bit better than Clifford's Brewing. I don't know if it's a lot better, but it's a bit better. Yeah, I think the ceiling is a bit higher on these beers. Yeah. So yeah, but otherwise, pretty tame week. I think we're almost out of the quarantine. I don't know for sure, but I just feel like the warm
you're looking
weather
outside
and
as
stuff,
if you're like assessing the situation as
right
it happens.
here, it's so close.
I can tell where the virus is in terms of deaths and new cases. I can tell if I just look at my neighbor's siding and things are looking up. So I'll tell you that.
I texted my foreman just to see what the fuck is going on because everyone's just kind of like hush, like no one's saying a word. I got no idea.
Yeah. And he's like, "What? We've been working for weeks. Where the fuck have you been?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've been working this whole time. I thought you quit. No. And he's just like, I don't know. Like it could mean anything, right? Like it's just his opinion. But he's just like, yeah, it looks like things could potentially go back to normal in a couple of weeks, right? Because they're talking about it on the news. So that's why I texted him because I saw some things that looked kind of fucking optimistic.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like what's going on, like professionally now? Like what's going on with my fucking shit?
They said Monday I think they're going to open some businesses. And Ford also said that if you're a golf course, you can start thinking about opening, which is prime time.
I would be so happy if they did that because I want to go golfing so bad.
And you can stay away from people pretty easily on a golf course. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's not.
Man.
That's not a bad place to hang out if you're socially distancing.
They're gonna kill it on the cart game though because everyone's gonna have their own golf cart.
Speaking of social distancing,
I'm not taking a fucking cart.
I have one more story to tell before we get into the sheet for this week. So a little while ago, stop me if you've heard this before. Mike, you might have heard this story yesterday, but don't stop me if you've heard it.
So it's only Will. Okay, cool.
There's this app that someone dropped off a flyer in our mailbox a few weeks ago for called the Nextdoor app. And this app apparently
they're going door-to-door app salesman.
But it's what you download if you live in like a certain neighborhood. It's like my neighborhood is called Gurley. And so in the Gurley neighborhood, you can like sign up and everyone in your neighborhood will have this app and you can like share messages.
Isn't it called
photos and stuff.
What's the app called?
Nextdoor.
Okay.
So I didn't get the app right away. Me and Kenzie kind of laughed about it, but I did sign up for like the mailing list. And so I got this email probably Sunday afternoon or Monday morning, I forget now. And this was the picture I got. So you guys have been to my house. You know there's a wooded area probably 50 meters from my front door, something like that. And in front of my wooded area, there's a coyote.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging out. Nice. So you can see the sidewalk there. That's like where I walk the dog all the time. And
I got a good coyote story. Well, it's not great,
you can tell it after. So I've been following this story now for a while, and there's quite a bit of commentary on this. Kenzie did some research too, and it turns out that a lot of people are saying in Captain Cornelius Park, which is in between Lime Ridge and our house, basically on Mountbatten Street, not far from my grandparents' house. These people are saying that in the last few weeks, a coyote pack has moved its den into this wooded area next to a park.
They're getting some fucking balls, eh?
Is that
holy fuck?
Because no one's out because everything's taped off.
Oh, true.
And so these guys moved probably all the way from Rymel over to this other park where there's kids around and everything is roped off. And so now the city is going to have to tango with a pack of mature coyotes come June.
They'll just fucking scare them off.
I don't think it's going to be that easy to scare them off. A pack of coyotes. So do you know what the difference between coyotes and dogs is?
Yeah, they're
one's wild.
Well, the thing is that dogs have the fear of humans bred into them, right? So the wolves, the coyote side has all the stuff dogs have, the smarts, the kind of cleverness and all that, but they don't have the fear of humans. They're not afraid. So
I think some of them, they definitely seem to be sometimes.
they might be afraid like a wild animal is, but they're not like innately afraid of humans the way dogs are. Like if you stand up to the meanest dog, it's gonna back down, right? You know what I mean? Like it's not really that difficult to handle a dog. I think in most cases.
Unless that dog is bred to fuck things up, or it's really scared. Yeah,
it's an aggressive breed, right? And so anyway, I'm wondering now what the city's plan is, because in the few years I've lived here, I've never seen a coyote, and I still haven't seen one. And I was saying to Kenzie, I got a notification about an hour and a half ago in the same app that the coyotes are back in this woods. Like, honestly, man, you can hit a golf ball to the woods from here without any difficulty at all. It's not far. It's barely even a fucking, if I was a better quarterback, I could probably throw a football there, but I can't.
I'm glad
you can throw it high enough, just not far enough.
Yeah, you guys, oh fuck, that hurts. Hurts right here.
I don't know, man. I looked up coyotes the other day because I had a run-in sort of with one. Because I was walking my dog. Actually, I was with my girl, and we were walking her dog.
Whoa, when
down
was this?
below.
When was this? This wasn't recently, was it? You're supposed to be socially quarantining, right?
I'm not getting close. I'm still staying 6 feet away.
That rope is tight.
On a rope.
Yeah, fucking A, yeah. So we're walking. We're walking below under Sydenham. There's like a little trail. And then I was like, yeah, let's just bushwhack for a while, like after, because I'm like, it'll meet up with another path that I know of, like under Rock Chapel. Mm-hmm. It does, but holy fuck, is it's fucking far away. So we're like bushwhacking. We're like with her dog. The dog's off the leash. We're just like walking. And it's taking so much longer than I expected. But I didn't really care. It was like a fairly nice day out. It was like 5 p.m. It wasn't going to get dark for another few hours. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I'll just like see where this goes. Pretend like I know what I'm doing. So we're like kind of going, walking, and I'm ahead. The dog's ahead of me, and my girl's like way behind me. And we're
at least 6
just
feet behind you. Yeah.
Oh, like way, probably like 25 at this point. So I'm going, and then it's like pretty much wilderness back there. There's like no paths anywhere like really close.
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't want to cut you off again, but I'm trying to think about where this is. So this is like Rock Chapel is on Highway 5. So you're coming up the hill. Are you like toward like the King Street downtown, or are you going the other way toward the stairs at the end of Alma?
No. So if you're going up Sydenham, like halfway up, you can take a little path to the right.
Okay.
And then it ends like, do you know like the lookout on Sydenham?
Yeah.
It's like under there and like, I guess, east of like there. It's just like it's basically the escarpment, but like the other side.
Okay.
So it's like you're kind of like walking on an angle because it's kind of hilly and shit. But there's like not much back there. But yeah, so like we're walking, the dog's ahead, and like always see like something catches my eye, probably like 50 feet in front of me, and it's a coyote, and I was like, oh holy fuck. And I didn't want to scare my girl and like alarm her because she like gets worried easily. So I just like I called for the dog. I grabbed the dog and I was like, yeah, we got to go down here. Like go. So then we beelined it towards the train tracks, bushwhacked the shit ton. My girl was probably like, why the fuck are we going this way? And then we get to the train tracks, I pick up a rock, and then we just like continue walking down the tracks, and we see like a fox and then a deer. There was like tons of crazy cool shit back there. But yeah, I was like, holy fuck, I haven't seen like a coyote straight up like that close in like a long time. So I went home and like did some research, and like I don't think
chill up there.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Like we had a fort near there, and it was 100% in a fucking den.
It's like right around there, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like we were looking on the ground. There's just hair everywhere. We're just like, whatever. Idiot kids. We were just looking for a place to fucking make a fort and drink at night.
Mike. That is one of the signs. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, clearly. Yeah. Clearly, we didn't think about it though. There's tons of them up there, man.
That's a toboggan hill not far from my house. I think I told you guys this before. I took Scoop up to the hill one time to take him off the leash and just throw the ball. There was another guy up there with his dog. His dog was fucking huge, like some kind of German Shepherd mix. Must have been 110 pounds. And he's telling me that he goes there most mornings. This was a Friday morning because I have every other Friday off, and so it's like 7:30. And he's like, I go there most mornings, and I bring my dog to the hill and just walk him off the leash. And he says, starting a little while ago, this is last year. So he says, starting a little while ago, I started to see in the woods on the bottom of the hill toward Rymel, coyote packs, and you can see them in the bush. And what they do is one coyote forward, and the coyote going forward is frolicking and like, you know, trying to get the dog to play with it. And all these other coyotes are just waiting behind.
It's crazy.
They're just baiting it.
Oh,
The old
yeah,
bait
they're
and
smart
switch.
as fuck, man.
It's nuts. Yeah, like it's
murk.
It's dicey. And I texted a few friends of mine about this, guys who live like a little bit more into the country. And they're saying like, your dog's, you know, if your dog's more than 50, 60 pounds, you should be okay. But some of these stories I see, even last
That's
year.
what I found too.
Yeah, but even last year, there was that story about a guy who had like a pit mix, and the thing was apparently pretty docile, but he took his fucking dog to the golf course hill, like the Shadoke Stairs area there, and like walked it down the rail trail and let the dog off the leash at night, and the thing got eaten by coyotes. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And like, it's like 8 o'clock at night, your dog's 70 pounds and at least, and fucking the thing gets chewed up by wild dogs. That's nuts.
They must have been desperate as fuck, is what I read. It was like, yeah, they're not going to attack if your dog is like, like over like 50, 60 pounds, because they usually only hunt in like 1 or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Unless they're like, you catch them like by the den or like in a pack, then you're kind of fucked. Apparently there's only been 2 human deaths by coyotes, like in North America, and like, I don't even know. And like the last, like, I don't know, it was a long fucking time.
Recorded history. Yeah.
I don't think when I'm out on a walk or something like that in the woods, I'm not really worried about coyotes.
Out in these woods?
I never was.
Nah.
I never was either until I saw that one. I'm like, oh, it's true.
Man,
how big was it? How big was it, like in person?
It was like probably.
Like
it was I was a bit bigger than my dog. It was like probably my dog's size.
Buster's pretty big.
It's probably
like Buster's size. It was like maybe Scoop's like build, but like skinnier. Like his height probably, but skinnier.
Or more fucking decrepit, fucking whatever, sunken in gut.
Yeah, this picture of the coyote, like the thing looks like it hasn't eaten in a long time. And he's just fucking just desperate for fucking eats. I don't know.
But I gave my mom because she walks the dog every day up in the woods, and she said that she started getting worried, so she picked up a rock every day and would bring a rock on her walk every single day.
You better fucking hit that first shot. If you're gonna throw a rock, you better not miss.
You come at
I think it's like a last case scenario. I don't think she's like gonna like
bang.
I think it's more of like a beating thing, just like to beat it when it's like on our dog. But so I got my mom.
You guys ever seen those coyote collars you can get for dogs? They're like big. They're like probably 3 or 4 inch neck collars.
Just cover their neck
with studs on them. Yeah. So like if your dog, like you described, basically, you guys just said this. Mm-hmm. So if your dog gets in a scrap, you can at least get to the scrap before the wolf can get to the neck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, that's good. But like, I'm thinking, I'm just stuck on the rock thing. Wouldn't you rather have a stick?
I don't know. How big's the stick?
Just a stick, anything, like a walking stick. I would rather have a walking stick than a thing. Like even not even to hit with. Like the rock, you could, if you hit him, you're gonna do more. But a stick, you can be like, get back, yeah.
As opposed to just like having like a rock in your hand and just like hoping he understands you're squaring him up with a rock.
Like, you're just standing there like this.
Well, he's not gonna really know. Yeah,
I read the coyotes
can stand like this. They're gonna be a little bit more tripped out.
I read the coyotes understand the teeth thing. So if you show teeth, they get it. And other people were saying that you could basically choose your path, right? It's like a choose your own adventure story when you encounter a coyote. Either you take the stone and stick, or you take the
teeth.
Here's some food.
Oh, fuck you, man. Fuck them. They don't get to have food just because they're there.
I don't know, man. If I
want to fucking come in you want to come do it? You're going to have to deal with the stone and the stick, bro.
I wouldn't fight a coyote.
What kind of food are you bringing? Just a steak in your pocket?
With this mustache, I wouldn't fight a coyote. I wouldn't.
I'd fight a coyote 100%.
I got my mom bear mace for her last birthday for that purpose. So now she brings that with her on her walk.
It's not a bad idea.
You tell her to be careful when she fucking lets it off.
I know. I had to like sign a fucking waiver.
Why?
And, like, it was like pretty serious when I got it at Bass.
What is it like getting your? If you spray it,
covers the air, bro. Like it'll fuck you up. Like have you ever seen like cops and shit, even with pepper spray? Like every time they do it, like they spray someone, they get in their eyes.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Super fucking like bro. They get fucked up.
I didn't know
it's meant to take down a fucking bear.
Yeah, it's like isn't it like it's like a bomb almost, isn't it? I don't even know how. It's like do you hold it? Does it have a trigger?
Yeah, this one's got like a trigger. And you just
I
hold
thought
it
it
like
was
this.
something you plant and it
Is
just
bear mace like a
No.
is it like a fire extinguisher, or is it like spray paint? Like, it's like one use, you pull it and you let it go, or is it like spray paint where you just like spray it at a time?
Yeah, it's not a one-use thing. I think it might actually be liquid though.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like pepper spray. It's like the same
That's
thing
cool.
except way stronger for bears.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Like,
want to talk? Do you guys want to talk a bit about? I was going to transition to this when we were talking about coming at the king and not missing. We haven't hit on this yet, but we should, because it's like a monoculture subject of interest, a phenomenon, if you will. The Michael Jordan documentary. Have you guys fucking watched this?
Excellent.
I've not
Excellent.
seen it.
You have not
Super
seen
good.
it. Will.
Recommend it. So
Oh,
I'm watching
fuck.
it for the second time. I started it again last night.
So we should
Really?
say like I
So
think
good,
the three
man.
of us-
So good.
The three of us from me in '87 to you, Mike, in '93, right?
Yeah.
So we're 6 years between the three of us, and I can remember Jordan. Like, I remember a lot of Jordan stuff, but I remember vividly, like, I'm old enough to remember that Utah series in '98 where he hits a shot over Byron Russell. I remember watching that game in my living room, and that, like, those moments for Jordan are unbelievable. But this documentary has exposed a lot of stuff that I sort of knew a little bit about, but not like this. Like that.
Like what? Does it put him in a like, not so good light?
Oh, fuck. It's great, Will.
Not Jordan. Jordan's.
They got the thing about Jordan, okay? For all the years someone has tried to get him to do this documentary, like try to do a documentary about these Bulls teams in the 90s.
It's not like the R. Kelly documentary.
Far from it.
Fuck no.
At least 4 episodes in. Maybe in episode 6 they'll talk about pissing on kids. I don't know. But in the first 4 episodes, it's been really good. And one of the things that was holding up something like this for a long time was Jordan's unwillingness to be a part of it. So to give you an idea of how unwilling this guy has been in the past, I remember playing NBA Live 95, 96, 97, 98 on Super Nintendo. Do you know how many of those games Jordan is in?
All of them.
None.
None?
He never signed on with the Players Association. So he never had his likeness in the game. This guy is the most private, like, assassin athlete that has ever lived.
All he had to do was fucking sign a piece of paper for that, though.
Didn't want to. He's like, fuck off, I'm not doing it. And he got his own shoe deal, his own Gatorade deal, all this guy's money. Like, the Bulls paid him and all these other guys paid him. But he didn't take money from the places that NBA players generally generate revenue from. All that said, Jordan in this documentary somehow was convinced to do this, and so he appears in the documentary every episode to like address stories and tell, like, he like talks about stuff that happened in the 90s, talks about these other stories that, like, rumors people have heard over the course of these 3 decades since that era. And it's so fucking good. The first time you see the guy in the documentary, and every time after that, he's in his living room in like this palatial mansion with a glass of whiskey beside him.
Always.
Oh, he's hanging out.
Like his eyes are like beet red.
So
he's got a little bit of a gut. It's so good. Man.
And he doesn't hold anything back. He holds nothing back.
I understand why he was so like pulled back to do it. Like, he's got multi-million-dollar deals on the line, and like, which with like companies like Nike, who are like very quick to pull the trigger, any kind of scandal, anything. Like,
they would never pull it on Jordan. They'd never pull it on Jordan.
You never know,
I don't know, man. I don't think anything's off the table these days.
They did it to Tiger Woods.
What do you guys think, eh?
Yeah, Tiger Woods, exactly. And Tiger Woods wasn't even that bad. All he just cheated on his fucking wife, and he loses all his money.
Like, fuck. Like, who? I bet you every single person on that fucking Bulls team was fucking everything that moved.
For sure.
Oh,
like 100%. So like, you start telling those stories, especially like in the heat of the career. Now he's untouchable. He's out of the league. He's a solidified name with or without Nike. You have Jordan. Fucking
Jordan
question.
is not, like, you're underselling it. Jordan is not a solidified name. Jordan is.
It's iconic.
He's a fucking brand. Like, people buy the Jordan brand. Yeah. Not to mention that the guy is like, he owns an NBA team. He owns the Charlotte team.
Yeah.
He owns it.
And it's just like he's literally the face of basketball. There's no question.
I think so.
There's no question. People are
I
like
think so.
LeBron James. I'm like, I don't think so. Man.
Honestly, you know what? I was gonna save this for the Patreon content, but I'll say it. Okay, I got a good theory for
We
you
have
guys.
never
Patreon
once done
content that we
Patreon
have so
content.
much of, but
But
no
we're gonna
Patreon.
do it at some point. And I was gonna save this, but I'll give it to the people who are getting the podcast for free. We talked a little while ago about who might be responsible for COVID. Okay, we talked about the big printer industry, right? That was
5G towers.
5G towers.
They
Purell.
did it actually.
We talked about pizza parlor pedophiles.
Yeah,
I think
Pizzagate.
I think it's not out of the question that Michael
Pizzagate.
Jordan initiated COVID. He halts LeBron James's NBA season, releases a documentary, and reminds everybody who the GOAT is. And he's the fucking GOAT.
Oh, so like first he makes sure everyone is staying at home and
You gotta watch
nothing
this.
to do
Everyone's
but
gotta watch
Netflix.
it. Yes.
And
He's
then
been
if
sitting
you,
on this documentary for like 5 years, but he's like, all right, we got to fucking come up with some shit.
They sat on it for a
sitting
year.
at home alone.
They sat on it for a year. They were going to release this in fucking June or something after the NBA playoffs. And they fucking sat on it for a year. And then like, fuck, everyone's stuck inside. We'll play 2 episodes a week for 5 weeks.
and man, if you look closely during the whole documentary, every so often there's just a flash and it just says LeBron James sucks and it just goes on quickly.
Really
Subliminal documentary.
Slow down the frames per second. The best story in that so far, I think, like, this is incredible.
Gotta be fucking Rodman.
It is Rodman. I'm gonna go into some detail. Okay.
When he goes into his fucking wearing like his wedding dress and shit.
That wedding dress is only like.
Did they touch on that?
They show a picture of that will, but this
the
is
first
a much
episode
better story.
they show it.
It's a much better story. So they talk about this season where Pippen gets foot surgery in the beginning of the fall, end of the summer, beginning of the fall. And
right in the heat of the season.
He's unhappy with his contract, and so he spends his whole summer fucking around, fucking everything that moves, as they say. And instead of getting their off-season and recovery stuff done, over the summer, he gets it done in the beginning of the season. Misses the first 30 or 40 games.
Oh, yeah.
And for that first 30 or 40 games, it's Jordan and it's Rodman. And when Pippen comes back, Rodman he seems distant for about a week.
He's pissed. There goes all his fucking shine.
And so he says to Phil Jackson, the coach, who coached Jordan to 6 titles and Kobe Bryant later to 5 titles. This guy's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Says to Phil Jackson, look, this is not really a role I can keep playing. I need a break. And Phil Jackson says to him, what kind of break do you want, Dennis? What kind of break do you want?
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
And he says, I want to go to Vegas. I want to go for 3 days. And I don't want to hear anything about basketball for 3 days. And so Jackson goes, well, let me talk to Michael about this, and then I get back to you. So they have this meeting, and Jordan is talking about this meeting with his gut out, his fucking glass of whiskey. He's watching the like old replays of the interviews on an iPad. He's just fucking shaking his head. He goes,
Philly rap like this fucking long.
He's like, I told that motherfucker. I said, Phil, if he goes for 3 days, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. And so he's like, and Phil goes, we gotta let him go. We have to let him go for 3 days.
You got 48 hours.
So Rodman dips to Vegas, middle of the season. He just leaves for Las Vegas.
No, I don't think he did.
He's left
like, I didn't go to fucking Vegas. I think didn't he say that?
He said that. He's like, I went to Vegas. And so there's a video of him in a parking lot, in the hotel parking lot, getting off a plane basically, like a fucking Learjet. He's downing Coors Light beers. He fucking finishes the beer, gets on a motorcycle, no helmet, drives away into the night with some other guy. No one has any idea who this other guy is. Long story short, after 4 days of Bender, like doing nothing, there's like little videos of him at bars, like doing kamikazes, dancing naked, dick outs on stage all over the place in Vegas. Psycho shit. At the end of the fucking weekend, they can't find him. And so Jordan himself, okay, for people who don't think Rodman was important to those teams, Michael fucking Jordan goes to Vegas and looks for this guy in the hotel room. He ends up pulling Dennis Rodman on the 5th day. He pulls Dennis Rodman out of the hotel bed where he is there with Carmen fucking Electra.
Yeah.
Okay? He pulls Rodman out of the bed. He's like, we got to go to camp. The fucking plane is waiting. Let's go. We got to get back in the fucking training regimen. And then the first day back, they got a video of Rodman in his fucking PJs in the weight room doing shoulder press, going, they don't pay us for the shit we do on the court. They pay us for the bullshit off the court. And then they got him on the lap pull down with a fucking little thing of Gatorade in front of him, a little cup of Gatorade. He goes to the camera. He goes, it's a kamikaze.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
jokes.
Like so fucking good, man.
Yeah.
And no one, ESPN has been sitting on this stuff for a long time. And one of the things that Jordan did in the lead up to the documentary, and probably early in his career too, was say, you guys can have this content, but I'm not in the Players Association. So if you ever want to use it, the rule is the league has to say yes, and I have to say yes. And so that was really the fulcrum that this whole thing existed on for a long time. And then finally both parties like, all right, let's do it. And so now all this video is coming through for the first time, and people are blown away by it. It's sensational to watch. Sensational to watch. Especially if you follow pro sports now, where these guys are like unable to even tweet something a little off color, like you said, without endorsements being pulled, right? Like this stuff they're saying. They call the Chicago Bulls in the 80s the traveling cocaine circus. And Jordan is just in the chair.
Yeah.
He hears that. He's
Howls.
like, he's like,
Laugh so hard.
never heard that before.
Oh, really? That's
bullshit.
jokes.
It's so
great.
bullshit. It's
so
great,
good.
man. Really good. It's on Netflix for free. So good.
Does
Yeah, it's
Jordan
good.
still have the fucking Hitler stash?
He's
got a
got he's
mustache.
rocking something, man.
Got a mustache, yeah.
Yeah, the guy's eyes are fucking just beat red.
That guy spent his whole life just fucking eating people up. So if he wants to drink whiskey and gamble, I don't fucking care. He's the
Man,
best
gotta
I've
be-
ever seen.
He said he wouldn't even do it. Like he wouldn't even like when he first started, he wasn't even partying.
Yeah,
Like he would just fucking go. He's like, all right, I'm out. Fuck this. And he was looking to get some rest and then just go play. Like he's all he cared about basketball.
That is what he said. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, I want to sleep and I want to get back to playing tomorrow. Yeah.
It's crazy,
There's
man.
something to say about that. Like, I feel like nowadays, like, there's way more athletes that are like that because, like, if you're not like that, there's the next person ready to take your spot.
Oh yeah.
And like, so like,
sure.
so many people are like that. So when there's so many people on the team that are like actually like dedicated, that it's easier not to be a fuck up. Whereas like back in the 80s and 90s, everyone is probably a fuck up. So like saying you're not going to go out, and this is probably for all major sports, saying you're not going to go out and like hang with the boys, they're probably like, oh, what a fucking nerd. Like this guy cares about like it so much. Whereas like they're just going and ripping like the strippers and shit all the time.
It's fucking good shit, man. I cannot recommend that documentary series enough. I don't love those docu-series most of the time because like I'm old enough to remember some of the athletes that are popular in my era, Jordan, LeBron, and all that. But a lot of stuff on this documentary I'd never seen before, and it's fucking worth it to check it out. Absolutely worth it to check it out.
I'm surprised that if it's ESPN shit that it's not on Disney Plus and not Netflix.
So ESPN runs it on Sunday, and then Netflix Canada gets it the next day.
Oh, Netflix Canada. Oh, interesting. Because Disney owns ESPN, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm surprised that they weren't just like, yeah, fuck that. We're gonna. Put
I don't think
they
I don't think they can show it on Disney Plus because ESPN is running it with all the curse words. So Jordan's dropping F-bombs all the time. Fucking,
true.
It's good shit. It's good shit.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
I know. That's
exactly what you
right.
want to fucking see. I don't know why there's not more of this shit. Another good one was Mike Tyson's documentary.
I haven't seen
I never saw that.
So good. It's just
Where's that? What's that on?
It was on Netflix. I think it's just called Tyson. I don't know if it's there anymore, but it was.
Is it an actual documentary or is it like?
Yeah, it's him. It's like the exact same concept.
Oh,
it's exactly the same. Like they're having one-on-ones with him, and then he just like she's just telling stories and like who is with who. Like they have fucking what's her name? Robin Givens comes in and talks about it. Fucking all these fucking people are coming in. And it's the same concept. It's fucking so good. And it's raw, right? It's exactly what you want. It's not like they're not censoring. They're not beating around the bush. They're saying what it is. Like he's talking about how he's like growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. He was the short guy. So when they would go into people's houses, he was front and he would just go in and because he could just reach like everybody's pockets and shit. So he would just go in and steal shit from right in front of them and just like it was fucking hilarious. He's like, I'm the short guy, so I would just go into people's pockets. It's like, what the fuck? It's hilarious, man. Like because they're talking, it's real. It's not bullshit. It's not made up.
I'm surprised he's even capable of telling stories and having like memories.
I'd be shocked if he was.
But he wasn't like the type of guy that got in a bunch of wars. Like his fights were over pretty fast. Like they were either the ones that he lost got drug out. What's that?
Including that Buster Douglas fight.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, that's the best one.
Didn't he say he's like ready to fight again?
Looks like it.
He's fit to fight 12 rounds again.
Looks like it. Fucking, I see him throwing punches. He hasn't lost a fucking step, man.
Is that on Instagram? He does that?
Yeah, he's a freak athlete. Even in his 50s, like you just see the way he's hitting the bag. It's like the speed of it, the power of it. It's like he probably couldn't do 12 rounds. Well, he could probably do 12
Yeah, I
rounds
was gonna
with
say
like
that's
whoever,
a lot.
There is something
not
to be
against
said.
a pro. He could probably do amateur and fuck somebody up.
He could do pro. Why not? I think there's certain guys who could still like fight or play pro sports into like their late 40s at a high level. Like Tyson might be
fucking
one.
Jumbo, Joe Thornton, bud.
Jordan
Yeah.
was one. Joe Thornton. Are you kidding me? That's Bush League. What about Yarmer Yager?
Yeah, Yager was playing last
Yager is
year.
fucking like 47 or something like that. He's so fucking old, scoring
Kovalchuk.
30 goals a year.
Yager was so gray. Yeah.
Solani was another guy who was fucking scoring tons of goals. Till the
That's got to be hockey though. Like hockey makes sense. Like it's low impact, right?
low impact unless you're in the corner.
Until you get fucking nailed. Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes one time.
But those guys aren't fucking doing that.
I
Those guys
don't
are
know.
too
But
smart at the
basketball's
game. They've played the
Did you-
highest level hockey for years. They know how to fucking get out of. They know
I
how
guess.
to
You mean,
not
like-
get themselves in a bad spot.
Well, what about basketball? Do you see very many old basketball players? I'm
No.
assuming their knees and their ankles.
Yeah,
and
fuck
shit
yeah,
just
man.
go.
That's what I'm saying.
LeBron-
That's exactly what I'm getting at.
Well, LeBron is in season 19 right now. And
Is he really?
Yeah.
LeBron's a fucking anomaly.
He's in season
and
19.
He doesn't take
So like
rest.
this guy's a fucking monster, and he's still like. But this guy sleeps. I think I said this to you guys before. Speaking of like athletes who take care of their bodies, he sleeps in this this setup where his legs are like,
hyperbolic.
well, not even that. His legs are above his
Yeah.
head, and basically his knees.
What the fuck, man?
His knees are constantly just being like
Oh my
what's the word?
god! What
like
the
passively
fuck?
moved because he doesn't want him to lock up, right? And so this guy has never had a serious injury,
So he sleeps on a robot. Like he sleeps like on a machine.
basically. And so like it should
It's
be
probably
noted-
so loud. His
It should
wife
be noted that
probably
like
hates
2008,
He's a
9,
billionaire.
10, yeah, like 2008 to 12, LeBron is like 6'9", like 290 pounds. He's a fucking,
Shredded.
he's a fucking
Shredded.
animal. Like the guy is faster, stronger, and just better at everything than everyone else on the court for 5 years. Whether it's rebounding, playing defense, perimeter D, like full court pressing, stamina, you name it. This guy has.
Isn't it weird that like another man, like I would consider that we're all men, another man has a foot and 100 pounds on me?
It's weird,
And he's just like-
is more shredded than you.
especially because
way more
most of the
shredded.
places-
Way more
most of the places
shredded.
we go, like most of the places we go, if we go to a house party, generally, unless we're all there together, like we're probably the most cut guy at the party. Is that not the case almost everywhere we go? I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah,
can you imagine
yeah.
going to a party and fucking LeBron is there? He's fucking like,
There's no way you couldn't know. You'd see him from
Yeah.
40 miles back.
It's unbelievable, right? Like to see a
But
guy
it's crazy
that
that
size
he-
is to think about.
But there's people like him that aren't professional athletes and they just live their life as like a fucking 6'10" guy
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
280. Like that would be fucking insane. How do you even act like a normal person?
Why do you pursue anything other than basketball?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
You're 6'10", you got a chance, man. Like,
You're 6'10" and you're huge and you're muscular as fuck, man.
if you're white, you got an issue. Like, if you're white,
Yeah.
you're at a disadvantage.
It would be so weird if like anyone at my work was like a 6'11", 300 pounds shredded. It would be like, what are you
No,
doing,
yeah,
man?
yeah. Why are you working for a living? Go to a pro sport, you idiot.
Yeah. It would be
Anything
so
like
fucking
pro
weird.
water polo, you could even fucking do effectively. Like, you have that much height. Anything you can do
Yeah,
with
just
those
pick up,
extra
like,
inches is insane.
you're meant to be an athlete in something. Pick up a sport that not a lot of people do and just fucking try that for like a while and then just become pro.
Tennis.
Yeah,
Tennis be
birdie,
tough.
badminton, whatever. Just do fucking whatever, man.
Yeah, you got those extra those inches, man. Like, they add so much like velocity to anything. Just having that extra reach is so much. Oh my god.
Oh
Like,
fuck
being
yeah.
short, the only thing that's gonna help you with is if you're like a fucking center lineman in football.
Like a wrestler.
You're just a fucking
it, yeah,
like
that's it.
low fucking no neck, like,
Yeah.
like that's when being short will help. Low center of gravity. Other than that, I don't think, like, if you look at all the best athletes in the sports, they're all tall.
I'll
Like
say,
hockey,
you know what?
hockey's
Playing-
the only one you can kind of get away with it. Like,
But even
basketball,
so,
they're all
like-
tall. Basketball, they're short guys, like 6'8".
Basketball, I had a pretty good like high school basketball career, being like 5'6", 5'5" most of the time, because I was pretty quick, and like your low center of gravity makes a difference. If you can shoot it, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
How
You're
would you
okay
fare?
though.
Yeah, how would you fare against guys that were like 6'5"?
fine. Everyone was 6'5". What do you mean?
In high school.
Everybody. I played AAA. Everyone was in high school was 6'5". There was guys on my team who were like playing shooting guard beside me who were 6'3".
But how much better would you have
Everybody
been if you had another 8 inches on you?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I wish, man. Holy
Of course,
crap.
that's exactly it. So like, there's a lot of people with athleticism, and they just don't have height.
Well, they say that like one of the easiest indicators of guys who are going to be successful in high school sport or in basketball, I should say, is if you start small and then have your growth spurt late. So you develop all the skills, and then you get the 8 inches or 7 inches on you.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to Scottie Pippen. That's what happened to Scottie Pippen.
That's right. Yeah, they do say it in the show.
He was like my height, and then like he was doing all his training and shit for college, I guess. In college, I think. And then he just like fucking grew like over the summer like 6 inches.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's
like how tall is he? Is he 7? Is he 7 feet?
6'7", 6'8", something
6'7".
like that. Yeah.
Man, so like what I wanted to say about that shit. You see like the way LeBron James dunks it, right? Like it's spectacular. Like nobody in the league really he just flies, man.
Yeah.
And then just fucking slams it. Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan were doing that on a regular basis every fucking game, like a routine play. They're just like, and like nobody's even noticing that they're like, do you know what I'm saying? Like LeBron James does it now when he trips. Like back in the day, it's just like, oh, Scottie Pippen with the slam dunk. I'm like, that motherfucker's head was above the backboard. And, like he could have lifted the back. It's insane how fucking high these guys are getting, and it looks even bigger from Jordan because he's shorter.
Yeah, how tall is Jordan?
Jordan's 6'6".
What is he?
6'6", yeah.
6'6".
He's
He
still
looks so
huge.
little out
He's
there.
huge.
I know.
But you see him in comparison to people on the fucking court, he looks like a fucking such a little kid.
I
He's
know
huge.
that.
There's no
He's
small guys in the
fucking
NBA.
huge,
There's no
man.
small guys in the NBA.
Man, and then there's man, you gotta watch it. I don't want to say too much because you'll fucking like it. But like he starts getting jacked like Michael Jordan does.
Yeah.
And, like it's like insane. Like that just shows how athletic he is. Remember how long it took us to bench 225?
Oh, years.
Like how many years, right? Years working.
Yeah.
Do you want to
It's
see?
just like he just starts He starts lifting weights, and then he's just like, "Oh, I just put it on. I just started fucking racking weights on." He's like, "I was benching 215," and he's just repping it. Guys never bench.
But the best part is that the trainer is like, I had a program for Michael. I told him to do a certain amount of reps, and he just fucking double it every time.
Yeah.
Like the guy is
He gotta do 3. He's like, I did 8.
Nuts. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You want to see a picture of a guy who is huge and didn't live out his life playing sports? So you guys know Phil, my buddy Phil is probably 6'3", something like that, 6'2". So here's a guy next to me and Phil in the summer.
That guy's 7. That's 7. It's gotta be 7 feet.
He's 7'1".
Holy fuck.
And
that guy is fucking tall, man.
So
that's
that guy,
fucking weird seeing
that
people
guy
like that.
is he works at Oshiega as a beer guy. And so this guy's hands and like his natural strength, he doesn't even lift weights. Little bit of weights he does for his legs and stuff because he needs to because he's that size. But he's like, I don't really lift
No
weights.
kidding.
Maintenance. He carries in
Yeah.
one hand a 2'4" of tall boys like this. He just fucking palm it. It's incredible to
pinky
see.
thumb is like touching the corners.
Watching
of the
this guy fucking love shit around.
He's got platters.
And so
spanning it.
He came on the Oshiega podcast last year on my last day there, and we are just shooting the shit about all this stuff. I'm like, have you ever played a sport or anything? He's like, the number of people who ask me that is crazy because much like we just said, like if you're that tall, it's like a free pass. Like some athletic program will take you regardless of what your skill level is. If you're fucking 7 feet.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it. And in high school, if you're like,
for you.
yeah, if you're anything like that in high school, they'll just be like, yeah, you're on the team. You made the basketball team.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll teach you how to play later.
Start running suicides. Get your footwork down because it's brutal.
Okay, so listen,
Your head is awful.
We're about an hour and 10 minutes in. There's 2 topics on the sheet and 1 question. So
all right.
I want to cover this though quickly.
Well, let's do 1 topic on the sheet. Let's do the Epoch times, and then we'll go over to the question. So the topic I want to cover tonight is naturopathic medicine. Okay. I have strong feelings about naturopathic medicine.
I hope they're negative because I have strong feelings also, and they're also negative.
I think it's a fucking scam. Okay, I'll tell you.
Of course it is.
It's a fucking scam. And
it's treatment that's not evidence-based. That's like that's like the definition. It's not evidence-based.
Okay,
How
keep going,
is it not
keep
evidence-based? It's been going on for like so many years, like let's say hundreds of years. How is there no evidence yet? And like, you know what I mean? How do you rely on this shit? And it's like, oh, it's not evidence-based though. It's like, well, okay, you've been doing it for 100 years. What have the results been? They're, oh, the negative? Okay, that's your evidence. It doesn't work.
Yeah, but that's not how they fucking. You can't say that though, because that's too logical. You're not allowed to relate that kind of stuff to science. It's not allowed.
So
I just okay, yeah, you go.
Okay, I'll tell you why I want to bring this up. I have a theory that I just got a text on my phone to tell me not to talk about health issues on the show. I'll just say this, okay? Kenzie is at her wit's end with a health problem she's had for a few years, and she's tired of going to her doctor because the solutions don't work. My coverage covers naturopathic medicine. And
really, how does that work? That's fucked.
It's been that way for a few years. I didn't know that. She looked it up, and so I was like, all right, go for it. Fucking.
How did they get their little practices into insurance programs?
This is not even the dumbest thing we cover. Well, I'm sure if I really look, we probably cover the dumbest fucking stuff in the world. But so she had her naturopath appointment today, and you know, you guys know me. I don't really bite my tongue. I make what I think known. Probably more than I should. And so I told Ken's, you know, in the lead up to this, like, I think this is a dumb idea. This is not going to be productive for you. It's not gonna be productive for your problem. And I'm sure there's a better way to fix this. But she said, you know what? I've dealt with this for long enough. I want to get another opinion from someone who's, you know, got a fresh set of eyes. It's like, all right, whatever.
Which is fair to try. If nothing's working, right? Like you might as well
totally
fucking try everything.
The only thing I'll say in favor of this is that she exhausted a number of other options before going to this.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I was gonna say. If this is your first thing you do is go see a naturopath,
that's right.
You got issues.
And so I said, okay, fine, go for it. And so she did it today, and at the end of the appointment, she said, you know, it's funny, I've been doing a lot of research on this problem, and this person basically gave me a lot of the same solutions I had already come across on the internet. And I'm going to try a couple of new things here. She bought like some kind of probiotic off of the naturopath. I was like, all right, it's fine. But like coverage is not going to cover that. Like you're going to have to pay for that. She's okay. Yeah, no big deal. Okay. So the reason I bring this up is not, I'm not going to just spend, you know, 10 minutes trashing naturopaths. Do I think naturopaths are scammers? Yeah, 100% of the time. I think naturopaths fall into the same category as something like a chiropractor.
I'm not going to trash them, but let me start by trashing them.
Yeah, they're you know what? I will trash them. They're fucking.
Let me just generalize all of them and say they're all scammers.
They're fucking con artists.
If you're going to do it, just do it.
Yeah, I'll go all in. They're fucking con artists. Chiropractors, naturopaths. They're in the same category as psychics and palm readers. There's no evidence that it works, and generally the people who think it does, there's another cause for that. And that's really where I want to go with this. I think there's a phenomenon at work here, a paradox or a conundrum that I think deserves a name. And I first started talking about this a few years ago when we got Scoop, because about 4 or 5 months into having Scoop, Kenzie was at her wit's end. And I said, let's just keep up with the, you know, kind of bathroom training them and all that. And we'll see how it goes. And then a few months went by and she had really had it. And, you know, I've never had a dog before. Kenzie and Mike obviously had one, and Kenzie wanted to take the dog to training. And so I said, okay, let's go for the training and see if the behavior improves. Now the behavior was stuff like he was toothy, he was kind of lippy, didn't listen when you wanted him to do something. He was, you know, always needy and stuff like that. He was a year old at the time.
Scoop, come here. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
He's fucking really
and so
just fucking throwing the middle paw up.
And so we went to the training for I think 8 weeks or 9 weeks, and it was about $1,000. It was quite expensive, this training. And when we finished it, the dog was more well behaved. Now, I would like to call this phenomenon that I think exists for the dog training, I think exists for the naturopath, and I think exists for a number of other things. I would like to call this the Scoop fallacy in honor of my dog. This is what I think is happening. I think if you make it to a point in a certain problem where you are at the lowest possible point for yourself in terms of the resolve you have to fix this issue on your own or to fix this issue with traditional means, I think if you make it to that point, regardless of the step you take next, the problem is bound to improve because you will take extra steps outside of this other remedy that caused the problem to get better. And so whether it was Scoop's training, where we really started to hamper down on him in terms of what he was allowed to do and not do, whether it was, if you're a member of a church, for example, and your life is, completely in shambles and you decide you're going to start doing the rosary every Friday because it's so desperate and your life improves, or whether it's you have a problem that you want to see a naturopath about and you've already done the doctor thing for a year or 2 years. I think all these things together point to the same thing. If you're at the lowest point, the only way to go is up. And so you attribute this uptrend in the problem to whatever solution you sought last, whether it's dog training, naturopaths, or the rosary. And so this is the Scoop phenomenon. This is the Scoop fallacy.
So
you are changing your behavior in a way that's making the problem better, but you're assigning the credit to something that doesn't deserve it. I'd like your comments, please.
Okay. First comment is you can't just be like, whoa, we took our dog to a trainer and he got better. Weird. Whoa, that's got to be some crazy phenomenon. No, you took him to a trainer and he got trained. Obviously, he's going to get better because it's like, what did you do before that? Just like, that's like that saying. It's like, fuck, we tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. No, like, you've tried, like, you try, yeah, you take him to like, you take him to get trained and he got more trained. Obviously, he's going to be better, but I
can't believe this happened. Exactly what we thought would happen.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying that if you make it to a point where like you have to take your dog to training classes, then probably you're not just going to do the training. You're going to change the way you behave at home, right?
Right.
So things have gotten so bad that you'll change the way you behave day to day.
Right. Okay. I would agree with that. So that you're saying like naturopathy gets like all this false validation from these people who are at the bottom of the barrel and decide to go there.
Yes.
And then whatever happens there, you think it improves their situation because they're like, they've hit rock bottom. So now they change a whole bunch of other shit and they start going to naturopathy, but maybe behind the scenes, they do other shit too. And like, yeah, sure, it gets better. I don't know. It's definitely possible. I know people that fucking swear by naturopathy. Is that how you say it?
I would call it naturopathy, but sure.
Yeah, naturopathy.
That's how I want to say it too.
Know.
That's what I want to say too.
This is 2 episodes in a row. We've had some disagreement on the pronunciation of the term.
Naturopathy. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like that. My opinion on that is, if I ask for advice, give it to me. If not, leave me the fuck alone about it. Because it's either if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, I didn't ask. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't. If I want to do it, if I will do it if I run out of options. Probably the exact same thing that Kenzie's doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's fucking stupid. But like I'm also not gonna be like, I'm not gonna be sworn by it. Like even if it works, if you're like, okay, cool, I got a solution to that particular problem. It just so happens to be within this realm. If not,
yeah,
I'm not gonna be like, oh, naturopathy is fucking stupid. I'm like, whatever, man, whatever works, just fix yourself.
I don't like that they're not
don't
like
push shit on me.
Like there's no like what is the name of the oath, the Hippocratic oath that doctors take, right? Like to do no harm. I don't like there's not something that's grounding the profession, as it were. I almost hesitate to use that word profession, but like, how is it possible that naturopaths don't have like a governing body? Like that's weird to me. Anything that makes money has a governing body, and these guys somehow don't.
They must have some kind of.
They don't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, same with
So
chiropractors.
you could just
Chiropractors won't have one either.
but you couldn't just open up like a naturopath place, could you? Like me, like us three could just like
Man,
fucking rent a commercial space and just like buy like a fucking massage bed and be like,
off
all right,
the
guys.
air, I'll tell you guys more details, but Kenzie is doing logos and branding right now for a naturopathic office that has zero licensing, zero background, zero anything. And
But is that legal though?
yeah, because there's no licensing like authority that
interesting.
decides who gets to practice.
So I'm going to propose then when we move into a studio for this,
Two whites and a naturopath.
We front it as a naturopath. Like we'll just sell shit. Like we'll just sell whole supplements or whatever.
Candles and incense.
Goodwill supplements.
Essential oils.
Sell them.
Essential oils. And essential oils.
Yeah, you can only have these essential oils if you're an essential worker though.
What about essential services, electrician, and stock options? Why don't we try that?
Fuck yeah, just
we
really
sell stock options.
trippy fucking conglomerate of stuff. And we sell Epsom salt.
Yeah.
Salt.
But
would you like some mutual
I
funds?
gotta go pee.
Salt?
I gotta go pee.
Yeah.
You guys keep going on the fucking naturopath thing.
The naturopath thing, to me, it's a bit weird. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. Like, I mean, I understand the instant hesitation on it, because like logically there should be a natural like break. Like, wait a minute, this is fucking voodoo shit. I don't know about this.
I just don't know how far it goes. Like, I like some of the shit. Like, I didn't know like they prescribe like probiotics and stuff. Like, that's fine. Like, I believe in that kind of stuff. But like when they're like lighting sage and like waving sage around your face and shit, and they're like, oh, this is gonna cleanse your. It's like I don't believe in like that kind of shit.
It'll cleanse your colon. Just like fucking
breathe
light
in
some
smoke.
sage and incense and shit.
Yeah, like that. That's like where I got to draw the line. Like if it works for you, for sure, that's sick. Like I'm happy for anything that works for anyone. Like that would be crazy if it did work for you, and like more power to you. But I don't know. Like you got to draw the line somewhere.
Have you ever walked by someone and smelled them and be like, you probably go to a naturopath? I can smell it on you.
No, why do they
you
smell
like you have dream catchers in your room and all that shit. Like you can smell those types of people. Like it's not even like that's not even hating on naturopaths or whatever. That is for sure. Those are the people that are going there first thing.
Oh,
like,
and
they're not even looking
sick.
for they're going. That's their shit. And
they go there for their mental health.
They go there for everything, groceries, fucking everything. They just buy it all. No, like again, like I don't hate it. Like, yeah, like I agree. Like if it's helping you, great. But like, don't come to me and being like, that's the end all be all. This is the only thing that works. Like I used to work with a guy. He was a Colombian, like super Colombian, like older guy. Right. So he was like pretty old fashioned. But he would tell me, like, this guy was like, I could tell he was getting like by the end, like I stopped working there before. I saw the end of him. But he's still alive. That's how I meant. But like he was looking brutal. Like, he was not looking good. Like he was sick. But he would initially go to like homeopathic medicine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? And I'm like, man, like you look pretty bad. Like you should probably go to a legit doctor first because that would be a good thing to do. And then if that doesn't work, maybe you can switch back and go to your homeopathic shit. But I'm like, hey man, like this is like.
It's clearly not working.
Things like you just kind of got to bite it and go in and go to a real fucking doctor, man. Like,
yeah, oh, absolutely.
People were saying like it seemed like the guy had like cancer and shit. Like that's what he looked like. I was like, fuck yeah, like he is not looking good. And he's like, oh, I just take homeopathic medicine. It's like, yeah, man, maybe this is why you're not getting better.
Yeah.
Like you should probably go and get yourself actually looked at by a professional. Like. Do they have like CAT scans and fucking all those shit, like ultrasounds and whatever the fuck?
I doubt it because they're not licensed for that shit, are they?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They can't give that kind of shit. I feel like they just like, how do you feel? Oh, you feel like that? Yeah, you need more maca root in your diet. Okay, cool.
Here's your hearsay diagnosis. This is what I said. This is what I think. This is how I feel. It's like, here you go.
Yeah.
Take this sage, this thing of incense, and fucking go. You're gonna be clear. It's like
burn it at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. every night.
It should just be like an alternative to
Yeah.
the basics.
I think it's also wrapped up in spirituality a little bit. So like people that are more religious, I would say generally not maybe Catholic religions, but other religions are like much more averse to using this homeopathic stuff. Like I know a friend of mine that I work with, he lives in Brampton, and his good friend, who it's actually a mutual friend of ours, his dad, when right before he retired or he got fired or some shit from his job, and he started a naturopath clinic in Brampton, and he's like fucking breaded right like now because of it. Like it's like yeah, I think his like I don't know, it's like a super 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 big operation now in Brampton, and he like brings in a fuck ton of money.
It's a fucking good business move, man.
That's great. It is fucking.
He probably doesn't even believe in it. He's probably
no shit. He definitely doesn't believe in it. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, no kidding.
No fucking way. Okay, let's.
I don't know.
Do you want to move to? We should move to Mike's preferred topic here before we go to the question of the night.
Yeah, quick, man. Like this came in today. Like I got a.
Where did you pick this up?
It was fucking mailed to my house, bro. I don't know if
I wonder if we got one. I didn't see it.
Is this backwards, or can you read that?
I can read it.
Yeah. The Epoch Times.
Yeah, the Epoch Times, and it says how the Chinese communist. This is a newspaper. Just came to my house. Loose
term.
Yeah, it looks like a newspaper. That's what they did. They just fucking disguised this propaganda, but it's like it's all against China. How the Chinese Communist Party endangered the world. And like every single, there's not one article in here that's a break from just attacking China. Like not even like a one feel-good story, nothing. It's like
there's no editorials, there's no opinion, there's no
nothing.
Arts page, there's no movie suggestions and shit.
The Epoch Times has a verified Twitter account, so they have a blue check.
Wow, yeah. How many followers?
And man, look at this. Listen to this shit. This is what people. This is what people are saying about the Epoch Times in this newspaper. These are direct quotes. I first learned about damage by the new aggressive Wuhan virus from the Epoch Times. Kudos to ET for doing what we pay the departments of health billions of dollars to do.
You can't say
that. That's the first fucking quote, and it's immediately attacking China.
Oh my god!
And it's like, let's just quote and let's just like pump our own tires in the very first edition of the Epoch Times.
It's great. Every single fucking one. Did you guys get one?
No.
I don't know.
No.
I want to know who sent these out.
Did it come out of a fucking airplane? Did it drop on them? That's what it seems like.
There's a 5G satellite drop that down to your house.
This is kind of fucking crazy, man, that they're doing this.
It's wild because some people probably got that and are like, imagine like an elderly person got that and just thought it was a normal paper, and it's just
they're like, yeah, for sure.
Fuck, man.
I was always thinking this about China anyways.
Fuck, man. Well, it's like fucking, man, this is like all this stuff's just making me think of like World War II. Like we're hitting a recession. There's propaganda being spread. Like everything's going trippy here. Like potentially we have like what looks to be like a potential dictator in Donald Trump. You never know, man. He could start just dictating the states.
Hard to say.
At least we have like more than one fucking like news outlet, so it's not like people maybe like back then would like believe all that shit. Like they'd get that in their door and be like, holy fuck, man, we gotta go to war with China now. Whereas now we're kind of like, oh yeah, for sure, man, this is totally real.
That's right.
It looks like fucking TMZ's more reputable than fucking any kind of newspaper.
The Epoch Times.
I can't believe
any
news
outlets seems they're all biased, man.
I thought the Epoch Times was Pulitzer quality stuff, but I guess not, eh?
I never heard of it, but like now, and my first impression is they're just
it's
bashing
like 4 pages.
China.
That's the smallest paper I've ever seen.
Oh, it's folded in half. Yeah, look, it fits. But then you get inside, and it's fucking just huge fucking bashing.
What's
China.
the sports section look like?
Yeah.
They had sports in that thing, or what?
Is there a crossword?
Yeah.
Every fucking word is only 3 letters.
China.
It's all every single answer is NWO.
Yeah.
We missed a boat on containing COVID-19, Senator says.
Does he mean the Wuhan flu?
Every single fucking thing. It's crazy.
What a joke. There's so
But-
many
yeah.
valid, the
Firestarter,
problem is there's
yeah.
so many valid criticisms of the way China's handled this. Like, we don't need a fucking, like, propaganda outlet to
No,
cover
yeah, totally.
and drop ship newspapers to Dundas. Like,
We
what
have the
fuck is
president of the
point?
United States openly doing it.
I know.
He's just openly bashing China. It's like, okay, man, we don't need we don't need this fucking hand-me-down bashing. Like, he's doing it on national television.
I showed this to Will before you signed on, Mike, or when you were getting your headphones. Did you see Trump's new press secretary?
Oh no, I think you think you meant to say you showed that to me. She's hot. Fucking right.
Yeah, I saw her too.
I respect that. Who cares?
Come on, that's great. That's top.
That's
Maybe people
typical
are just gonna
Trump
be
fashion.
distracted by her.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no
don't know.
kidding.
I have
Perfect.
no
It's
comment.
it's a good play.
Should we go to the question of the week, the mailbag?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, man.
Let me just make sure I have this figured out here for sharing. So I want to share with my friends music or computer sound.
I'm gonna share with my friends.
You guys tell me if you can hear this, okay? I'm going to hear it very shortly here. Let me just go back to the beginning of the question, make sure we catch the whole thing. Okay, you ready?
Ready?
Can you hear that?
Nope.
Nope.
Really? How about,
Good
okay,
before.
wait a
What's
minute.
change?
Can you hear it?
Nope.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it back.
Well, what are you gonna spend your money on next week?
Oh, I like that.
Well,
don't
no.
I haven't thought about it
We
yet.
gotta save the content, boys. We gotta
Well, hurry
save the
up, man.
content. I'm fucking
listeners'
working on it.
ears
This
are
is
burning.
live troubleshooting. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Trying
Can
to
you hear it?
vamp here.
Hey, two whites and a
Can you
blue.
hear that?
Long-time listener,
Yep.
first-time caller.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna start it again. We'll run it all the way through. It's about a minute long.
Restarted. It's right at the beginning.
Hey, two whites and a blue. Long-time listener, first-time caller. My name is Len, and I'm a colleague of Joey's. And the question I have for you, gentlemen, is on Bitcoin. And since I am familiar with Joey's stance on Bitcoin, the question is directed towards Mike and Will. Gentlemen,
No kidding.
why are you not investing in Bitcoin? The reason why I'm asking is that central banks around the world are printing money at record pace to keep up with the economic stimulus packages. And it's quite possible we will see traditional currency devalued, and Bitcoin might be a once-in-a-generation opportunity for people to make money. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Why are you not investing in it, especially since you guys are being sponsored by ShakePay? So I'd love to hear your stance, and I want to hear more about it. Thanks.
Okay.
First of all, we got to find out what mic this guy's using because he's clearer than all three of us.
I know.
Yeah.
His content's somehow better than all of ours. Fuck, not again.
Also, I can start. So I did invest a little bit in Bitcoin. Not too much though compared to all my other holdings, but I just don't know enough about it to be perfectly honest. It just seems it seems sketchy. Like in the last few years, obviously it got validated more and it's like kind of stabilized itself. But it just I don't know. I just don't know enough about it to want to invest like a significant amount because I guess call me old code, but I'm just like I like stocks. I did like riskier stocks, but now I'm more into blue chips and I don't know. I don't think it's the worst call now, to be perfectly honest. I would feel comfortable investing more money in. I still would probably way more into my other investments. Maybe now that I'll be withdrawing some money from them, I might put, I don't know, a few $100 more into Bitcoin, but I don't think I would go crazy yet. Because I just don't think that like at this point, because I have missed the boat obviously like years ago, but even now, like if it goes to like 100K, I don't think I'd be kicking myself for missing the boat because I just don't understand it enough. It's just like one of those other risky stocks where like, oh, it triples, it quadruples, all of a sudden like it goes from like $2 to like $150. It's kind of like fuck me, but you just weren't, I don't know, you just didn't trust it. So like you can't really regret it because you don't really understand it. That's kind of my stance.
Mike?
My turn. I basically just I'm the same way, but like I'm also not really there yet. I don't know. Like it's just I'll say this: if I do start investing in Bitcoin, I'll be one of these new wave, new age investors that gets it and then doesn't say anything about it. I'll just have it, and then I won't be like, hey man, you should buy Bitcoin because I do. You want to talk about cryptocurrencies? Because I don't want to have that conversation with anybody ever. So I'll buy. If I do buy it, you won't even fucking know. And I just don't know about it either. I don't fucking know anything about it.
That's why I don't want to talk about it. Really. I'm open to like learning new shit as long as you're not like fucking coming at me like as like a lecture or something, you know, or as if like I don't know anything about economics. The people that are like, Joey, you're not like, and this is a slander to you, but like people that I know that are like high up on their high horse about Bitcoin, they don't even want to argue with you about anything because like they already know in their head that they're right and you're wrong. So they're just kind of like, oh yeah, you just don't understand. It's like, this is the fucking way of the future. It's all going to happen. Yeah. And yeah, I probably don't understand to the point that you understand, but like, you can't it's like
the people that have Bitcoin ruined it.
Yeah. Seems like that.
They suck. That's why people that have Bitcoin suck. It's just a correlation.
It's because they've made the easy money. Like they bought like a few years ago and then like they made, I don't know, probably a decent amount of money, probably not as much as they say, but all these people made quick money and now they look down. It's the same thing that happened during the tech boom when like people were getting rich, not really knowing what they were doing, just putting their money into tech stocks. And all of a sudden, like it's 2000 and like everyone's like talking down on their high horses and shit because they made a bit of money in the last few years because they were like smart enough to put their money into tech. And then a year later, all their money's fucking gone because the tech bubble burst. I just feel like I just am not comfortable enough that that's not going to happen with Bitcoin.
It's been all over the map for how many years? Like it's been up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't know. It's volatile. It seems. And there's probably is enough information about it. I haven't fucking even I haven't even scratched the surface. Like it's a clean sheet of ice, all that information that I haven't even fucking bothered. I haven't even desired to like type even the first letter in a search bar for that shit. To be perfectly honest, it could blow up in my face, and so be it. I don't really fucking care that much. Like I'm not gonna go in buying Bitcoin. Like a lot of these people are depending on it to make me wealthy.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't. I don't think it's smart for sure to be like, yeah, fuck all these stocks and like fuck everything else. I'm just gonna like go headfirst into Bitcoin because like this is the future. This is that. You might be right, but you also might be very wrong. So if you're basically gambling and because you're on the right side of a gamble, don't fucking look down on us because we didn't want to take that massive risk.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it today. Like because I really needed to develop an answer for this question because I listened to the question on Monday, didn't think about it until like 2 hours ago.
Shocker.
But yeah, I know exactly. But I was like, because they're like what he said. He's like, this could be a financial breakthrough and blah 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 because of all this is what's going on with the economy, and this could be a steady thing. It's like, yeah, like it could be, but like I could also just fucking buy a lottery ticket. Like to me in my head, it's like the same. I could just like I don't know anything about either of them. I just buy a lottery ticket, and I could become fucking rich off that. Or I could buy a Bitcoin and become fucking rich off that. But like, I guess the argument would be Bitcoin is a different currency. So like, if I win 70 million in the lottery, and then this 70 million is worth fucking 2 loaves of bread because of this recession. Whatever. Then I'm fucked. But I don't know, man. This is the thing. I'm not invested whatsoever in learning that right now. Like if I get to a point where I am, because like I'm getting myself financially set first before I start just dipping money into that shit. I want to be set myself. I want to be fucking comfortable with my finances alone before I even start buying gamble stocks like Bitcoin. Not even whatever currencies like Bitcoin. Buying other currencies.
Yeah, I guess cryptocurrencies. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. And you won't hear it from me if I do get it.
Yeah, I mean, I might tell you that I invested in it, but like I'm definitely not going to get to the point where like I can have a solid debate in favor of Bitcoin. Maybe if I like do more research, but I'll invest in it just because it's kind of like, it's just like seems at this point worth it to have a little bit of your net worth in it, just in case it is like actually going to go to 100K, you know? If it goes to 100K, then yeah, like, yeah, of course, like it'd be worth like risking like a few $100 on it, but I don't think it's worth, I don't think it's worth actually like dipping a significant amount of your net worth into, at least, I mean, for me at this point, at least.
Yeah, it's definitely like that question is, for me, it's definitely really situational, circumstantial, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's my answer, circumstantial, I should say. Like it's just more so like I haven't really considered it because I'm not exactly in a place where I want to just dump money into that. Like there's other things I want to dump money into right now.
I also think that like people who bought it in like, let's say like 2010 or 2012, whenever the fuck it like really originated, when the fuck ever. Now they're like, oh look, we knew this was gonna happen. We knew like there was gonna be a need for this new currency and shit. But I don't fucking see people using it. Yeah, you say that like, yeah, there's gonna be a need for it because of fiat currency and all, we're off the gold standard, all this shit. There's printing money. Yeah, cool, that's fine. But like it still hasn't become like no one's using it even. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not a part of my life. Like I'm sure some people are using it, but like they don't accept it at fucking Shoppers Drug Mart and shit. Like you can't just like go and buy shit with it, as like people have predicted like years and years ago that it's going to replace all our currencies. So like you can't really just be like, yeah, I told you so, just because it's up in value. You didn't really, but like what you said hasn't really come true yet, you know, at least in my eyes. Like when like Zoom stock went fucking up crazy. You hear about Zoom. We use Zoom. So many other people use Zoom. You know that it's being used and shit. Whereas like Bitcoin, all this the price is going up so much, but I still don't hear people using it what it's being touted as, you know? It just seems to like, oh, now it's an investment tool. Yeah, but like, isn't it supposed to be a currency that people are using instead of other currencies? It's not just an investment tool. I thought that it was going to get its value because we were going to replace our currencies with it, but I don't see that happening yet. So I don't understand this like crazy rise in the price. I'm sure Joey's just been fucking jotting down notes to rebut everything we've been saying. Joe, you ready?
I haven't written anything down. I think you guys raise a lot of concerns. I think a lot of people have. I think those are good questions, and I think they're questions that smart people with money should be asking. Stuff that's related to risk aversion, stuff that's related to use case, stuff that's related to other told you so scenarios where Bitcoin really emerges as the winner. I'll say this, you know, without getting into the weeds for people who don't really know anything about Bitcoin, there's a couple of things that you should pay attention to when it comes to stores of value. Maybe not fiat currencies, but stores of value. And one of the things you should pay attention to is the relationship that something like Bitcoin has to another commodity like gold or another currency like the US dollar. And in both cases, you've kind of seen now that, you know, in gold's case specifically, we'll start there. You know, in terms of a use case, Will, like, are people using gold? No. But
yeah,
you could measure your worth in gold fairly easily. It's pretty simple to do, and you know, I think that's important in the
but
use case.
Is Bitcoin? I don't know. Is it a currency or is it a resource? You know,
I think it's a store of value. I don't know if there's a way to classify it in traditional markets, like in terms of you're saying a currency or a resource. I think you mean currency or commodity. I don't think it's either. I think it's a way for people to store value. I think right now it's probably close to a gold equivalent with a bit more upside and a bit more downside too. I think the volatility on Bitcoin is going to be higher. There's something else to consider here that a lot of guys in the space are calling stock to flow. It was coined in the not too distant past by a guy named 1 trillion USD on Twitter. Refuses to let his name out, but he's done some.
And what's with all this secret and Anonymity? What the fuck's the word?
Anonymity.
Why is everyone always anonymous?
It's because much like you said there, I think it's because the guys who have the highest conviction and have spent the most time on this don't want people to know who they are and how much Bitcoin they have. And so that's kind of in line with what you said already. And this guy 1 trillion USD, he's done a lot of guest appearances on podcasts that I listen to, and not just Bitcoin podcasts. If you go to your Apple, whatever, the iTunes podcast chart, you will see that in the top 3 or 4 in investing, there's a podcast called We Study Billionaires by a guy named Preston Pish and another guy, Stig Broderson. They co-host it together, and they interview a lot of guys who do hedge funds and different things like that for consumer, retail facing, and also institutional investing. And they've had this guy on, and Pish, you know, I would almost say famously in the last 6 or 7 months, has really come out as a guy who has been very successful in traditional financial markets, and is saying now that he's got no equity position. His entire net worth is in US dollars and in Bitcoin. And I don't know what the percentage is, but for a guy like that who's had a lot of success in traditional markets to decide that, hey, you know what, there's something here, I'm going to move out of the US equities, which is something we agree on, that equities is not maybe a good play right now with the recession and COVID stuff going on. For him to move out of equities and move into Bitcoin is one thing, and that's something to consider. The other thing I'm really not sure about with your guys' answer is the risk assessment and the quality of return that you're expecting on Bitcoin. I mean, we've talked on this show before about something like the Wealthsimple account, where if you turn the Wealthsimple risk all the way to 10, it's still not risky enough for what your preference would be. So I'm curious as to like what the risk profile on Bitcoin is, that it's too risky for you, even though it's probably not quite as risky as like an emerging market ETF portfolio. Like what is the gap there for you?
I think that the swing on Bitcoin is fucking way crazier than any ETF. Like the Bitcoin, like we even saw in the last few days, it's up like what, like 18%? Something like that. But like it'll also go down 18% in a week, you know? ETFs don't shift like that. Like if you want to like put large amounts of money in, it's like, I don't know, like you want to weather the storms like that. It just seems sketchy to like have to like weather these like 20, 30, 40% decreases. And then hopefully like the tide turns and then you get like a month or 2 months or 3 months that it goes up like 80, 90%, you know?
I think if you guys were to get into it, I would suggest probably 2 resources to you. One would be the Preston Pish stuff that he does on various podcasts about stock to flow and the way that works in comparison to gold and other kind of commodity level resources. The other thing I would say is that there's something to be said for the demographic changing. And we've talked about this before off air, maybe on the podcast too, but something except for the demographic changing from guys our age to the Fortnite V-Bucks crowd and the crowd that's like comfortable with digital currency. Even if it was their parents' money until now, it'll be their money eventually. They're going to be comfortable holding this stuff. And I think that's something that doesn't get enough attention in the Bitcoin space, to be honest. I think there's room for like better analysis on the effects of, you know, the 13-year-old who's going to be 18 in 5 years with a bit of disposable income, which might be UBI. He might be, you know, this kid might grow up in the area of universal basic income where money really has no value. It's only for consumption. You never really save. And these kids might start looking at stuff like this in a serious light, more serious than any of us do. And I look at Bitcoin seriously. I have like close to 20% of my investment portfolio in Bitcoin. So it's pretty high. And I expect that it's going to get more significant than that. I think the number is going to go up as a percentage, especially as the stock market drops. If I keep putting in the same amount of money every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks into Bitcoin, I think the number, the percentage in Bitcoin is going to go up, not down. And I expect that value is going to rise. I don't think there's, you know, especially in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months with equities dropping and the economy kind of, you know, losing its footing in a major way, something that we haven't seen probably for 30 or 40 years. I don't expect that. I don't expect that Bitcoin is going to be, at the very least, it's not going to perform worse than the equities market is. It's going to be, the same. And you just said, Bitcoin had a pretty good run up a few days ago. So now, since that big March drop off, Bitcoin is like plus 10%. Everything else is still, even with the rebound from the last 2 or 3 weeks, everything else is still down at least 10 or 15%. And if that doesn't sell you, there's other things that are more statistically and analytically driven that will, I think, get you to buy Bitcoin. It's too much for this question answer period, but we should think about it. We should talk about it one day. And you guys should write down questions. We should fucking go back and forth for half an hour and talk shit about.
Yeah, I fucking doubt it. Fucking doubt it. This is putting me to fucking sleep, bro. Jesus Christ, you think we're gonna go fucking toe to toe for half an hour on Bitcoin? Get the fuck out of here, man. This is
you're already like 20 minutes in, so.
No, you guys are. I'm just sitting here. I have no input on this shit. It's fucking so non-interesting to me. I'm so sorry.
All right, Joe, we'll do a solo podcast.
It's all right.
You got, yeah. I don't want to be a part of that one. I don't fucking care. I won't even listen to it.
Do you want to talk about? Do you have notes, Mike? Do you have any additional notes besides your suspect newspaper delivery that you received today? Where did you even get that paper? Like, how did you come across that paper?
Fucking was just on my table. Just
but you don't know.
Looked at it. Oh, that's neat. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, like what is that? Like an insert into the Spectator now? They're desperate for advertising dollars. They're just taking whatever they can get, or what?
Something tells me that this was like a basement operation. They printed a bunch of copies, threw them in the whip, and then just started throwing them on doorsteps.
That's what I thought.
Hard to say. I have no idea. Well, if we have no additional comments, we're fucking done, boys. So
yeah, sorry for the abrupt ending on the Bitcoin thing. I was just losing.
No, man, I honestly
okay,
I had a feeling it was going to go that way because it's a deep topic, and if there's only really two speeds, right?
It's just dry, man.
Yeah, there's I don't really care and I don't want to look into it, and then there's like even more than
balls
I know about it, right? Exactly. Yeah, like it's way.
Well, I can't even like fucking drop in a fucking comment. It's just there's nothing there's no angles. I can't even say anything.
What can you say? I don't know. Len for what it's worth is probably, early 40s. So he's got a bit of risk facing that whole marketplace there, that whole asset class, and he seems to think it's okay. I think it's okay. I'm a bit younger, obviously, but
I'll put it this way. If you want to entertain me with Bitcoin, I want to see you make a shitload of money with it and then have a conversation with me. Don't just talk about analytics of it. I want to see you do some crazy shit with it. Risk a lot, and then tell me about it. So then I'll entertain the conversation. I want to see white knuckling on this investment.
In fairness, I've been buying, I should say, like for transparency's sake, I've been buying Bitcoin every week, basically the same amount, like $30 or $40 a week for close to 3 years, something like that. So in 2017, I started buying before the big run up to 20K, and I didn't have a way to get out at that time. There was no like vehicle for exit in Canada. So you basically just had to put money in without knowing how you're going to get it out. And so I did
another sketchy thing.
Yeah, that's what
but that developed shortly after, right? Probably in February of 2018, that started to kind of pick up. So I've taken money out a few times, and I've had no problems with that. And so the point I'm trying to make is like, during the down years where it was like 3K, I was still buying the same amount that I was buying when it was at a high. And it's a conviction play. And, part of my stock portfolio is in stuff like blockchain analytics and mining and stuff like that I think is going to be big. Yeah. There's stuff like, again, I don't want to get too far into the weeds here, but stuff like energy arbitrage, like oil mining arbitrage that I think you might start seeing pretty soon because the oil demand is so low. Like, what can you do with the resources you have allocated to pulling, black gold out of the ground that you can't use anymore? Well, you got to find something for it to do, and Bitcoin mining is a good opportunity for those companies who are willing to kind of retool a bit of their operation and gear it towards that. Something to think about
What?
anyway.
You're comparing mining Bitcoin to mining oil?
You can actually
That's like the
use
biggest expense of it, Bitcoin, right? Is the power.
Yeah, you can, and so you can actually use instead of capping an oil well, you can use the vented gas to mine Bitcoin. And there's a couple places in Alberta that do that. Hut 8 Mining is a Canadian outfit that does explicitly that. And so they just run steady on oil wells with the spare energy and just hook up miners to it. And they pull in, 1,000 Bitcoin a quarter or something like that, like some pretty big number, and on basically no capital investment. And it's just a good way to spend that resource, right? Because otherwise, not only do you have to pay for the energy that you're using, but you're also taxed on the emission in most civilized countries, right? So it's a good way to spend that resource. And so you're going to start seeing like energy arbitrage in that way for places who have that extra power available and are not spending it. But that's a story for another time. Last chance, boys. Comments for tonight. We're on episode 28 this week. 28.
All I can say is that, oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I had a good fucking
nice tagline.
Oh yeah, okay. So if you choose to invest in Bitcoin and you do well, great. I don't give a shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fucking care. I hope you do. But if you fucking don't do well, I don't want to fucking hear it either. I don't want to hear any of it. You just shut up. It's either going to go well or it isn't. Like, most people like bother me with Bitcoin. Like, just the people, like how they approach it. It's annoying. I don't want to know. I didn't ask.
People in your life now than you did 2 years ago?
Yeah, there's a few of them, and then they're just, once they go, it's just like you can't derail it. I tried to derail this conversation like 3 fucking times because I got nothing for it. Sorry, I'm just a piece of shit right now, but I'm so done with it.
Nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people are in that boat. So
it's just dry, man. It's just dry, and there's nothing fucking. People just ruin
it. It's tough to get a hold of. It took me like two plus years to really understand why I'm still pumping money into it, but now I feel pretty good about it. Maybe you guys will too. Who knows, right? Who knows? Anyway, that's it. So we're done. Episode 28. Next week we'll be back. Send your questions in. Don't fucking forget to share the fucking show because we're getting more plays and more impressions, and we need to fucking get over the next hump.
Share the fucking show.
Yeah, we need to get like to 150 per episode. That'd be great.
Ooh, that'd be deep.
God damn it. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Sorry, Bitcoiners. I'm an asshole.